Do I have to fix everything before I sell? The roof is 18 years old. The HVAC hasn't been replaced. The kitchen is from 2003, and the deck needs work. I had a woman tell me last month she had been putting off calling anyone for over 2 years because she assumed she had to fix all of it first. She was waiting until she had the money and the energy to deal with everything before she felt like the house was ready. So she just waited. And the answer is, you don't have to fix it all, but you do need a strategy because the decisions you make here will directly affect how much you walk away with. And some of that sellers spend money on before listing is completely a waste. Let me break down what actually matters. Buyers care about 3 things in roughly this order. First, they don't want to walk into a house and feel like they're inheriting someone else's problems. That's primarily an emotional reaction, and it's driven by cosmetics more than you might think. A home that smells fresh, shows clean, and has neutral updated paint feels well maintained, even if the mechanicals are original. A home with stained carpet, dated wallpaper, and clutter feels like a problem, even if everything works perfectly. Second, they don't want surprises after having an inspection. Items that come up in a home inspection and weren't disclosed or weren't priced in are negotiation leverage for the buyer. They become a post-inspection credit request or a reason to walk away. You want to know what the inspector will find before they find it. Third, major systems. The roof, HVAC, water heater, and electrical panel. Buyers look at these, and an 18-year-old roof is a known cost they'll factor into their offer. A new roof is a selling point. Here is my honest breakdown. Worth doing? Fresh paint. Interior neutral paint returns extremely well, sometimes 200% on the money spent. A $2,000 to $4,000 paint job can add $8,000 to $12,000 to buyer perception. It is almost always worth it. Worth doing? Deep clean and carpet cleaning. If the carpet is in decent shape, cleaning it is dramatically cheaper than replacing it and often gets you 80% of the visual benefit. Worth doing? Curb appeal, mulch, trimming the shrubs, cleaning the front entry, and power washing the driveway. These are the buyer's first impressions. You cannot overstate how much a first impression drives offers. Worth doing. Minor repairs, squeaky doors, dripping faucets, cracked outlets, broken locks. These are cheap to fix and expensive to leave because buyers see a list of small things and imagine the list of big things. Not worth doing in most cases, a full kitchen remodel. If your kitchen is functional but dated, you will likely not recoup the cost of a full renovation. I've seen sellers spend $50,000 on a kitchen and net $20,000 in additional sale price. That's a $30,000 loss. Update the hardware, paint the cabinets if they're wood, add a new light fixture, that's it. The HVAC question. If your HVAC is over 20 years old, I may recommend replacing it, but I'll tell you the real math. A new HVAC system runs $7,000 to $12,000. You may get credit for $5,000 to $8,000 in buyer negotiations. Run those numbers with me before you spend all the money. Selling as is a real option, and sometimes it's the right call. As is means you price the home reflecting its condition and you make no repairs. The buyer accepts it the way they find it. You still have to disclose known defects. Minnesota law requires that, but you don't remediate them. When does this make sense? When you don't have the energy or resources to prepare the home. When the home needs significant work and the math of fixing versus a price bump doesn't pencil. When you need speed over maximum net proceeds, when health or family circumstances make a traditional prep and list process impractical. The trade-off is real. An as-is home in average condition will likely sell for 5 to 10% less than it would fully prepped. On a $400,000 home, that's $20,000 to $40,000. That's a meaningful number, and I won't pretend that it isn't. But for some people, the time, energy, and emotional toll of a full prep and staging process is worth more than the difference. And that's a completely valid calculation. What I can do is run both scenarios for you, prepared versus as is, with real numbers, so you can make an actual informed decision. Here's the summary. You don't have to fix everything. Paint, clean, and minor repairs almost always pay for themselves. Major cosmetic renovations usually don't. And selling as is a real legitimate option when the math or the circumstances support it. What I can offer you is a free walkthrough. I come to your home, we walk through every room together, and I tell you exactly what I would do and what I would skip, with real numbers attached to each decision. No charge, no obligation. Link in the description. And next week, we're going to get into the question that more people are afraid to ask than almost anything else: the taxes. I bought my house for $180,000. Now it's worth $430,000. Do I owe tax on $250 in appreciation? Most people assume yes, and most of them are wrong. I'll explain why next week. See you then.